You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
The views expressed by the individuals during this broadcast are their own opinions, and they may not be the same as those of their group or other organizations they may be involved with.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Pace Radio Show. It's June the 1st, 2022, and we are live here on the Pace Radio Network's YouTube channel, as well as on Facebook. I'm Al Graham, and as always, I'm joined by my joint host, Tamara Cartwright. Hey, I got the finger right this time, Tamara.
I almost got it right. I know that's kind of weird. It was round, right?
It's backwards. I know, eh? Exactly.
I know, this way, like, you know, because you're looking in a mirror. Basically, right? It's like looking in a mirror.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, it reverses things. Yeah, it takes a little bit of practice sometimes. It's when you try to go the other ways, it's just, yeah. But other than that, other than finger pointing back and forth at each other here, what's new and exciting with you? I know you've probably been busy.
Yeah. I'm always busy. But let's talk about what happened with you in that storm that ripped through your place. Holy moly, what the hell happened there?
It looks like a tornado or a mini tornado went through here.
Unbelievable. And they tore all the plastic off that Quonset, and you had stuff and glass out of your greenhouse. Like, man.
It blew the doors open of the structure, which is somewhere around, I'm going to say 24 by 50. And it blew the front doors open, and it just popped the whole top. It's like a big tarp, greenhouse, the tarp on it instead of clear cover, and it just popped it right off. And probably 75-80% of our stuff is stored in there. Most of it's in bins, but
the bins probably knocked. Did you lose any? Like, do you have?
There'll be some lost stuff. We haven't been able to go through it all. We've got it covered up. We haven't got the building, the structure covered yet, but we've got our stuff covered up. And like I said, most of it's in bins. So.
Al's frozen. So it looks like I get to take over for a minute because I was all of a sudden frozen.
Yeah, I seen that. I just looked at the screen and noticed that. The trees out here were just bending right over. We lost about half a dozen trees out in the backwoods, and then we lost a couple out here in the front yard.
Right, I seen the tractor pulling stuff away, and incredible Mother Nature. Like I keep saying, there ain't nothing that's gonna stop what's gonna happen because Mother Nature's in charge, and it doesn't matter whether I don't think we have a choice. I don't think it matters what we do. Yeah. I don't think we take ourselves off complete fossil fuels and all didn't drive cars and all walked and recycled everything that we possibly could. I don't think that's going to stop anything.
Yeah. And yourself, how's the pierogies going?
Well, we're at 331 dozen pre-made.
Pre-made. How long is that going to last you?
Well, you know what? We've got a sale. The reason why we're making so many pierogies again is because it's not because they're all gone and we don't have any in the freezer. It's because on June the 12th, we've decided to do a music and Verenike sale in the park, only we're going to serve them hot. So we're going to cook them on site and then serve them. So we sold 100 dozen frozen ones out in 15 minutes. So we figured we could make it last maybe a half an hour if we serve them hot.
And this is all the raised money for the families coming in from Ukraine, right?
Yeah. We've actually got one we're just waiting to hear that has no family here. We've got two. Our seniors family arrived. So we've got Roshana's dad and Nana's mom are finally here. Mm-hmm. So that brings us up to 11 that we've got.
11 you brought over.
With their family here. Now we've got another mom and 2 boys. We're just waiting to hear when they get their plane tickets booked. And we've got 6 hosting families here in town that will bring. So we've got the availability for 6 people, like 6 families to come.
Right.
But we also have to think of the fact that it's going to happen in 6 months because there's no housing. and we have no doctors.
Yeah, that's right.
So we're trying to be mindful about, all the barriers and the obstacles that is going to be when they do get here, because there's these barriers and obstacles for any immigrant or any Canadian for that matter. Like, it's hard enough for an average Canadian to find housing. Never mind bringing 350,000 more people. Where are we going to put them all? And, I know they're saying building, but interest rates just jumped up.
Again. Oh, yeah, I know. I just sold my house. So, yeah, I've got an eye on all that. So,
that, and the fact that, it's not that there's no jobs. Jobs are plentiful. Our minimum wage just went up to $16 an hour. I said today, actually, June 1st. So it's not a matter of jobs. It's not a matter of not making money to be out. But when the housing is low, rental are high, right? So you're paying $1,600 a month for a 2-bedroom apartment, even here in this little shit ass town in the interior of British Columbia. Right. So there's got to be a solution for this, and it's housing. And like I said, never mind bringing the immigrants in, which we love to do.
Just got to find a place to live.
There's nothing for them there. Like, that's the thing. Everything's bombed. Everything's destroyed. Everything, and they are going back, but we're just doing what we can to help. Yeah. And that's all we can do.
Exactly. Helping each other. Yeah. Helping people that need help. And that's what our guests are going to that's what our guest dude that we're going to be talking about tonight is helping people. Helping people in need.
Again, we are being mindful of the barriers that Canadians also have here. So again, my heart is to bring as many Ukrainians as we possibly can afford to, but I have to be mindful there are people in our community that are living houseless now as it is, that have jobs, that have pets, that cannot find housing, and they're living in their cars. So
yeah, exactly. All right. Well, as I said, we're about time we bring in our guests, as they're helping people just like you're doing. Well, helping in different ways. So.
Well, I'm teaching them about cannabis as I come. So I'm still doing cannabis education.
That's right.
About making candies and edibles. You betcha. Like, this is like not just exclusive.
You did a mini seminar or something with some of them, didn't you?
Yeah. I sure did. So it's still cannabis education. I'm educating our new immigration people about
there you go.
As they come.
That's good.
Because it's legal here, right? And
that's right.
They over there, they wish it was, because they have large hemp farming, right? There's a lot of farming there. So hemp is a commodity over there as well. Marijuana is illegal. So when they get here and it's like, oh, marijuana is legal, and they're interested. So as soon as they find out that cannabis is legal in Canada, they want to know about it.
They want to know more. There you go. It's good to know. I'm sure maybe at some point that may come up during a discussion tonight. All right. Well, at this time, I'd like to introduce our guests, 2 people who are working hard to educate and bring patients the special medicine that they need. And I apologize to one of our guests. I'm going to mess up his name. And we'd like to welcome Jim Grishner and Garrett, and Jack Kungel. Sorry about that, Jim. I meant to ask you before the show.
Hey, Jack. What's up, buddy?
Good.
How you doing?
How you doing, Jack?
I'm doing awesome. How's everybody else doing?
Doing well. Getting over, as we talked about, the storm. Still dealing with that. But
we had a little storm, and we had a little Dallas storm last night.
Did you?
Yeah.
Is that stuff heading this way?
Probably not.
I hope not.
Probably not. No, it didn't seem like it was going far. We survived it. Yeah.
Good. And Jack, you told me before the show that you didn't, where you're at, you didn't even deal with that storm.
No, it all went Detroit way. So they got it, and we only got a couple of drops of rain. That was the extent of it.
I felt like I was in the tropics watching that. Trees fall over and the rain going sideways.
Oh yeah.
Oh boy. All right. Well, to get started here, guys, what I'm going to do, instead of me trying to, put out some information about you, to describe you, so on and so forth, well, I just figured I'd just give you guys the opportunity to do a bit of a self-bio, to give us a bit of a background on yourselves as far as, getting involved in the cannabis and things, to, a quick thing to where you are now. We'll go from there.
Go ahead, I'll go quick, because mine will be short compared to what Jack's done. But so I've been a cannabis user since probably when I was 16 or 17, and until I moved to California, I really never understood how the medical cannabis field went. And when I moved out there in 2011, my son, a year after that, got sick, and at that point we started going through chemotherapy, and actually I was introduced to cannabis oil for the first time really in my life, and then about 5 years later, I personally had some skin cancer, and I read a book. We all know what book it was, probably, but the book talked about skin cancer and what they use for it. And I went and bought some in a dispensary in Santa Cruz, and it worked magic. It literally brought the cancer to the surface. I took pictures of it, documented every bit of it. But after I started looking into it a little bit more, I started realizing how difficult it was to find out how and where, how the product worked, what the product was called, for one thing, because I kept hearing Rick Simpson oil, where to get it, how to use it, what to expect from it, and all these type of things. So I started researching it pretty deep, probably, like I said, about 4 years ago, and fortunate enough to run into two people that are pretty amazing in the industry. One of them is Pamela Haynes, and Pam's awesome. I call her Javid, and also Jack, and Pam introduced me to Jack, and both of them are rock stars in this space. And what they were doing was, and still are, is helping patients on a regular basis. And I was at the same time trying to make something like what they were doing, but scalable, because I have access to technology. So when Jack and I met, we kind of hit hard running at each other, and created a pretty cool concept for making basically Jack's story scalable. And it's called FECO Playbook. And we can talk a whole lot more about that tonight, but that's where my head is. And the way FECO Playbook was all started was I used to read a lot of these stories about success, different cannabis usage, and different ways to be able to beat cancer by yourself. And it seemed like all these patients that were successful stories were really way more important than what a doctor actually was thinking. So everything we do with FECO Playbook is all based off of patient-reported outcomes.
Patient-reported outcomes.
Yep, that's basically a 30,000 foot view of the FECO Playbook, and kind of why I'm involved and where my passion is. And like I said, I couldn't do it without Jack. And glad to be here tonight.
Well, quickly before we pass on to Jack, were you a cannabis user before all this came along?
Absolutely, I was real comfortable. Okay. I was using cannabis regularly, and enjoying it recreationally. And then, like I said, I moved out to California in 2011. Yeah. My son was living there, Eric, and he had his card. And when he got sick in 2012 was when I really started recognizing that, the medical side of cannabis and what it was all about.
And seeing is believing.
Yeah, it really is. So I'm a believer.
Jack?
How you doing? So I've been a cannabis user since I'm 11 years old, so I'm 69. So it's never led me to do any other type of drugs. That's always been a false thing. So, and then for myself, like I said, I had been using it recreationally since I was 11 years old. Never knew the health benefits of it. And then I started to grow for a young lady that had MS, and so I got to experiment on this young lady before I got sick. So I grew for her for 10 years and discovered a few things about decarb cannabis, putting it inside 0 capsules, and very easy way to taking it, and then giving her a coconut oil capsule to help make it bioavailable to the cells, because I still hadn't learned how to do the coconut extract into the coconut oil. And so then along came, then I got diagnosed. I got injured in 1990. So I've been home since 1990, bilateral carpal tunnel, bilateral arm nerve entrapment, 2 torn rotator cuffs, 2 torn bicep tendons. I snapped my leg up this way. And so I started to ingest the decarb cannabis, and that addressed my situation, got me off 22 medications. And then that's when they told me I had terminal bladder cancer. My prostate was involved, and also one of my kidneys. And So then I jumped down the rabbit hole and I started to consume cannabis oil. Well, there's not a whole lot of people on the planet that can consume 6 grams of FECO a day, and I was consuming 6 grams of FECO a day, and my cancer came back because it didn't change anything. All I did is open my mouth and take the cannabis. I didn't do my part. My food was toxic. My marriage was toxic. My friends were toxic. My life was toxic. Everything I was doing was still toxic. All I did was take cannabis. It did its part as long as it could. I had to step up to the plate. And so once I stepped up to the plate and cleared my plate, and so now I've been cancer-free for 9.5 years and off 22 medications. And so now every single day, I have a meeting at 10 a.m. and it's usually with somebody that has been sent home to get their affairs in order. And so that's what I do 5 days a week. I have a 10 a.m. meeting. I used to meet with 5-6 people a day and it was killing me. It was too hard on me.
Yeah.
So because I'd have a 10 a.m. and then you would have to leave because my 11 a.m. was here and then my 12, and we would only just scratch the surface. And so now you have a 10 a.m. meeting and you have my undivided attention. It doesn't matter if I'm talking to you for the next 4 hours, but we get to the bottom of things. So that's what I do. I get to the bottom of things.
Yeah, that's having to deal with the patients at that, at the end of life it's hard on everybody around, and
it really is. And so basically you have no hope when you come to the garage. That's what I do. I'm giving you hope. I'm giving you a plan of attack because we're all that deer. I was that deer caught in the headlights. This is what you got. Go home and get your affairs in order. And I'm just so fortunate that I still had enough brain cells left from all the drugs that they had me on that I could make sense of what I was reading.
Yeah.
And then what gave me my attitude is when I discovered that the United States government holds the patent number 6630507 as a neuroprotectant. And then I discovered that the human body has an endocannabinoid system, and it's a system strictly to process cannabis, nothing else. That's its job. We have CB1 and CB2 receptors. The CB1 receptor runs all our organs. The CB2 receptor is our immune system. Cannabinoids come from 2 places. It comes from the plant and breast milk. And if you believe in the guy driving the big spaceship, that's what the 3 wise men brought baby Jesus was cannabis oil, which is cannabis oil, frankincense oil, and myrrh oil. And that's the Holy Trinity. And that's what we use to bring the body into homeostasis in food. It's easy peasy. You go home and eat your fruits and veggies and shove cannabis in every hole you got and watch what happens.
Yeah, in the documentary, What If Cannabis Cured Cancer, they talk about the toxins that we consume in our body and how it's going out of our body, and cannabis needed, the body needed help, and there along comes cannabis.
Yes.
And once you remove
it's the one
those
thing we need.
toxins,
Yeah, it's the one thing we need, and they take it away from us. I've been trying to get off sugar for the last 6 to 8 weeks, and I've done a really good job of it. More than anything, I'm paying attention. And I've had a couple fail days, very small fail days, but in terms of feeling better and everything like that, it's really hard to not eat sugar. Holy crap, man.
Everything.
Everything. If you can read instructions, everything has sugar in it. I mean, that's what's scary. And now I'm really reading it, and I'm looking and I'm digging and I'm seeing the organic stuff. Doesn't matter. Tomato juice, tomato sauce, bread, and just we all know fruits have sugar in them, but it's the added sugar is just
see, sugar. Since caveman days, we're hardwired that sweet is good. Okay, sugar is more addictive than cocaine, so we're hardwired for this. They give the body sugar when they're looking for your cancer because it lights up like a Christmas tree, right? So this is why we get all these cravings, and you don't know why you're getting the craving because it's all the sugar that's hidden so far down, the fructose, the glucose, the dextrose, all those left spin sugars cause that. The right spin sugars don't. They don't give you cravings.
Yeah. That's one of the things that my doctor, my specialist, told me to do is get away from those fructose and glucose type stuff. Read the label, check to see what's on.
Read the label. It's that easy.
Exactly.
Really is.
Exactly.
And you learn a lot really quick. That's all I know. And like I went up and hung out with Jack for a 24-hour period, and I came out of there pretty well educated, including a little foggy, and I realized just that you got to make your food, man. You got to cook it. And I do. I'm good at it, but I didn't really take it serious. So it's really what it is. It's a lifestyle.
Yes,
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
It's a way of life, and then once you get the hang of it, you're going to like it because you like how you feel. And nothing tastes better than health.
I still eat meat, now, but it's not every day, not every meal, and I'm not, just craving it. And I've gone multiple days and weeks without it. And if I hate to say it, I keep leaning more towards it. It's just difficult when I travel and stuff like that to get a good meal, and I got to get better. Like Jack said, go eat a fucking salad, So it's like, okay, all right.
I don't know, Jim. Could you reduce your meat slowly instead of dropping it all at once? Would that help you?
I've considerably done that. I've done that a major movement in the last 6 months of definitely reducing the amount of intake that I do, because I used to eat the whole steak. Now I'm splitting it with my wife, and or ordering.
You will lose the taste for it.
Yeah,
you will lose the taste for it.
I haven't lost the taste yet. It goes really good with red wine, as that's what I'm.
Cheers.
Yeah.
So, all right. So, the FECO playbook and the reported outcomes. Let's get into as far as the FECO playbook, and I know you touched on it briefly there. And just so you know, there was just some freezing going on there at mine. I don't know. I was seeing it got a little bit choppy there, so I don't know if everybody got the information on that. So let's go back and review the FECO playbook and what you're doing there and what got that started. And actually, I think also I wanted to know what got the two of you two together a little more.
Well, David introduced me to Jack. I asked her who else we could bring into the group that would help us. We still hadn't coined it FECO playbook at that time. We had talked about Health Camp Buddy is kind of where it started. Health Camp Buddy was an idea that I had about 3 years ago before the pandemic hit. A friend of mine was up in Durant, Oklahoma, which is about an hour and 15 minutes from my door. So there's medical cannabis available an hour and 15 minutes from here. So I used to go up there, and I was going to start a place where people can come use the medicine safely. Just come to a place where they could buy it at the dispensary, and they could sit in a room, and somebody can help them do their first couple doses. Just to introduce them to it and talk about it, educate them. And it was called Health Camp. Health Camp, because the Health Camp, just like healthcare, Health Camp has THC in it. So
that's right. Yes, it will.
I thought that would be a great introduction for people like myself that I was trying to learn about it. And it was really hard. When you Google FECO or full extract cannabis oil, you get a bunch of crap. You get a bunch of CBD and a bunch of stuff that's not relevant at all. Now I know that, but originally I was reading through it and just getting lost and not really learning anything I really needed to. And when I got a hold of Jack, we immediately started talking about what he did. And every time I'd ask him something, he would say, well, go to my website, go to my website, go to my website. So I got tired of hearing that. So I went to his website, and there it was. Now, was it all laid out exactly like I wanted it? No, that's fine though. But all of the information was there. So what we did for the last 6 months was to put together, for one thing, the name. I don't know where the playbook came up, Jack. I'm not sure which one of us came up with it, but we coined it that. And FECO, of course, had to be part of it. And and the playbook is because in like any sport, when you have a playbook, you don't know what the second play is until after the first play is done. And that's what we wanted people to know, because my son's a 3-time cancer survivor. So that makes me a caretaker, and that I didn't know what to do. And it was on a daily basis. And I wanted to try to make it easier on people. And we thought if we could make it easier on people daily, where we can ask them questions as simple as, did you have a bowel movement today? And if they did, give them thumbs up and move on to the next thing. If they didn't, send them some information based off of patient-reported outcomes. So basically, the patient-reported outcomes is what builds this whole library of hope, is what we call it. Library of Hope is a database full of all this information that all these patients and survivors have provided to us. A variety, I mean, we're inundated with it. Our biggest thing now is learning where to tag it and identify it. So when we do the searches, it'll pull the right stuff and in what order we want it to populate. So the playbook's all based off of, we have a Library of Hope over here that's a database full of all this information that's been provided to us by survivors using cannabis for cancer, 90% of it. We do have a lot of other residual diseases that happen with cancer, which anxiety, insomnia, appetite loss, things like that are just, like I said, residual, and cannabis is amazing for those too. A big part of my draw for this whole thing is the hope side of it, is the Library of Hope, because when my son got cancer when he was 8, he had a brain tumor, and I thought he was going to die. And until I met a parent that had a daughter that had this 8-year-old daughter that had the exact same kind of tumor, and she was fine, I finally got some hope. So to me, that's a patient-reported outcome.
Yeah.
It's a result, a real result, not like a doctor saying, I'm good at this and I'll do this and drawing a little picture on the table before the day of the surgery. So that was my intention that was my motivation of using the patient-reported outcome side of it. And it took me 10 years to bring it back up. Honestly, almost 20 years. That was when he was 8, and now he's 29. So he is a success story himself, and a survivor, and a great kid. And so yeah, that's my side of the story. Jack, what?
Go ahead.
Well, the FECO playbook, and usually what happens when somebody gets diagnosed with cancer, everybody fucking walks away. Now you're left there, and you're all alone, and you don't know what to do. You have no place to go. So this FECO playbook, this is going to be a place where we can send you click. And so it will also in the playbook. And so, for example, the appetite loss, we're just going to use this one. That's called cachexia in a cancer patient. And so when that kicks in, that's a buildup of lactic acid in the person. Lactic acid causes pain. Lactic acid, when you hear a bodybuilder go, do you feel that burn? That's what's happening there. So we use beta-alanine, and that's a supplement that the bodybuilders use, and that helps the body disperse the lactic acid. And so in the FECO playbook, okay, it'll click beta-alanine. It'll tell you where to go get it, and it'll tell you the reason why. So the whole list of supplements will come up there, like the turmeric and the black pepper. It explains the reason why you're taking the black pepper with the turmeric, because it helps the body absorb it. And so all these things have been put into place that is going to be very easy for you to look through it, because I was that guy, just like all of us here, had to go to everything that was on the internet and figure out what is true and what is false. All right. Yeah. And then hopefully that you saw a pattern develop. And that's exactly what I saw, a pattern developed. And so what we have here, the patient-reported outcome. So if you look at what all the patients do, there's a pattern. There's a pattern there.
It's a survey.
So, yeah. And so when in diet is one of the most important things. You see, what a lot of people don't realize, like the protein. So all your fruits, nuts, vegetables, grains, and beans contain amino acids. And when you eat them, they change the protein. That's how it works. When you look at the largest and strongest animals on the planet, not one of them eat meat, not a single one. What do you see the meat eater doing? He's resting underneath a tree, saving his energy for his next meal. So all this whole thing takes into place. And so like when we are dealing with cancer, it feeds on methionine. Methionine is what cancer-smelling dogs smell. So we need methionine in our food. And so fruits, nuts, vegetables, grains, and beans, the number is 80. Perfect. Anything over and above that now when we have cancer is detrimental to our health. So red meat is 180 units. Dairy products is 195. Eggs is 240. Chicken is 480. And fish is 700 off the charts. So that feeds it directly. Hey, so once
So
you
those kind of things, we
understand,
make it real easy. Yeah, we make it real easy for people to know that. That's the key.
yes, exactly. And so now you're being told why. Now it's up to you if you do it. We're not telling you not to stop eating your hamburger. We're suggesting that if you do this, this should happen.
Yeah, you're
Right.
removing the toxins that we're putting into
Yes.
our
Right.
own
And
bodies
like that's
willingly.
just one of them, the food. Then is it
Yeah.
your lifestyle? Is it your husband? Is it your job? Is it that like there's many things
Is it your
that
is it your
affect you.
phone? It's just things like that you got to go through, and we help you identify those. Just because
Yeah.
Yes.
we have survivors that have done it and they know what they've removed, and it just helps you think about it. And like I said, we're not doctors. We're a data collection company. We're
Okay. Yeah.
collecting data from patients.
I was going to ask you about all this data that you're collecting. I see it's break time. So why don't we go for break, and then we come back? You can answer that question as
Let's
far
do
as
it.
what you're doing with the information that you're collecting, and a bit of background of this data company that you're doing, so people understand. All righty.
Perfect. Cool.
Okay. It's time for us to take that break. Afterwards, Tamara and I will continue our talk with our guest, Jim. I'm going to mess up your name again.
Garen, sir.
And
Yeah.
Jack Kungel. I'm going to mess
We'll
it up.
work on
all
that
right.
next. We'll work on that right after the break.
See,
I just always
it's
knew
easy
you
for
as
me.
Jim G.
Jim G works, man.
Yeah. This is the Face Radio Show. We're live here on YouTube.
After
and
the break, I'll explain to you why my name is Big
You're listening to the Pace
All right?
Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
Growing your own cannabis is easier than you think. Whether you're growing for recreational or medical purposes, BMA Hydroponics has everything you need to succeed. From the standard 4-plant recreational systems to the latest cutting-edge hydroponic equipment, BMA can customize your package and do it at discount prices. Visit BMA Hydroponics at 404 Maitland Drive in Belleville and ask us for a free estimate. Or call 613-967-9888 and we will give you an estimate over the phone.
The only way to go.
In February of 2022, the Victoria Cannabis Buyers Club and Ted Smith were fined $6.5 million. This for helping 8,500 patients with access to medical cannabis. In our interview with Ted, he spoke to us about how people can donate to help in an upcoming court challenge. And here is part of that interview. From what I've seen lately, I believe that you've got something that you're trying to do as far as fundraising to deal with this next court challenge.
For now, people can write checks directly to Jack Lloyd Law Corporation or send e-transfers to save the VCBC at gmail.com. I guess those are the two easiest ways for people to help right now.
What do you find at paceradio.net? People advocating cannabis education.
A doctor's job is to relieve your pains. And when it comes to growing cannabis, the biggest pain is trimming. Let Dr. Buck Cannabis Trimming Solutions take the pain away. Whether you're a home grower or a commercial operation, we have the cure. From 4 plants to 400 plants, garden size doesn't matter. Dr. Buck Cannabis Trimming Solutions comes to you with years of experience and professional discreet service. It's simple. We trim your weed and we do a damn good job. Visit drbuckcts.com to book your trimming.
Did you know that the Pace Radio Network isn't just a radio network? That's right, because most, but not all of our programming is now done via video and is then podcasted at paceradio.net. So if you want to watch our programming, you'll find us on the Pace Radio Network's Facebook page, plus the show's own page, and you'll find us live on the network's YouTube channel. And don't forget, you can find it all, video and audio, at paceradio.net.
At Legacy 420, we believe in being different.
Experience the difference of quality control.
Our labs provide tested formulations for all of our products.
Experience the difference in trust.
Our customers can trust that we are following up-to-date COVID precautions for their safety.
Experience the difference in accessibility.
We're open 7 days a week. Please visit our website, legacy420.com, or contact us for curbside pickup as well as nationwide mail order shipping.
Legacy 420 values overall wellness.
Come and experience the difference of Legacy 420.
You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net. Hello and welcome back. You're watching the Pace Radio Show. We are live here on the Pace Radio Network's YouTube and Facebook pages. And if you missed the live shows, you can always catch the video and audio podcast afterwards at the paceradioshow.com website. Tonight on the program, we are joined by our guest, Jim Gershensky. I'm bad at this, Jim. Really, I am. I need a name like Hope. You know, it's just something simple to say. And Jack Kungel is here as well, and he's the man who's featured in the award-winning documentary Jack's Garage. And Tamara is here as well. She's been very quiet. You're tired, eh? Long day.
I'm tired. That's why. But I mean, this is like these are great stories. Like I don't need to be adding to them. That's why we have guests. So people can hear their stories, right?
That's right.
So you know, when you have an opportunity to hear these terrific stories and why they're, you know, and I'm good. I'll just sit back and edit myself for a minute, right?
All right. Okay. Yeah. Now, before the break, we're talking about the FECO playbook and collecting up information or data from patients, just so that people don't think that they're just sending their, you know, basically some personal information for a lot of the people just off to anybody. But give a bit of background of, you know, what your background is when it comes to collecting data, as far as what, you know, more of what you're going to do with it. Oh, hang on there. There you go. You were muted there, Jim, because you were noisy during the commercial break, so I had to mute you. But I've unmuted you now.
Sorry. I understand that. I'm part owner of a technology company. My partner has been in the technology business for a long time. He went to MIT, smart guy. We have our own CRM, which is a customer relationship management tool. And we also have a database that we own. A lot of time in, a lot of space, which is the key to that. It's like Amazon Web Services, where all of our information goes into this main storage, a very secure database, and then it makes it accessible for us whenever we want to access it. We access it through the CRM. The CRM is the front end,
and the CRM will or all this data you'll be able to have the computer program to analyze it all, spit out some of these
through AI, and it's like a survey. So if you have like 30 different results, and somebody asks a question that triggers the response, it would say like out of 30 responses, 25 of the people said yes to changing diet.
Yeah.
So basically, it's like you make a choice. Are you going to do what the 25 people do, or are you going to do what the 5 people do? Or and then it's all the way down to like, what type of FECO did you use? How many strains of FECO? How did you apply it? How many? How did you deal with overdosing it? You know, I'm actually working with a patient right now that's a friend of mine that has a house next to mine down in Austin, Texas. He got cancer, and I said, dude, go next door. I have some. This is probably off the record. You know, allegedly there was some FECO there. And if anybody has a problem with it, they can FEC off, which I still love that. That's our South Park version of all the crap the pharmaceutical companies are doing to us. Is FEC off, man. Oh my God. And that is going to be a big part of what we're doing too. Remind me about FEC off, and remind me about Hope the koala bear. Those are 2 big things that we are doing for our branding to get more patients to come to the playbook. And but the storage of the data is the key to this. We know data is king, and if we get enough data and we keep building up the data, and not only do we get stories from survivors, but like right now, my neighbor Dave E is collecting data on a daily basis as he goes to chemo and comes home and does FECO and lets us know how he feels differently than how he did before he did it. It's amazing. And his last response was FECO rocks.
There you go.
And it's him. He goes, it's like he said, it's like I'm not having to do this by myself, you know. And he just wrote us a bunch of patient reported outcome questions too, you know, that literally are ones that he thinks he's documented. He's a technology guy, it's just a bunch of smart people, and we're getting more smart people involved. And honestly, we're looking for more people to come to the table. We're a nonprofit. We're building up this network of it's really not, the FECO playbook is built by Jack and me and David and Matt. Us four put the most effort into it, but a lot of help from a whole lot of patients and survivors that gave us their stories. And you can go to FECOplaybook.com. In the future, FECOplaybook.com will be a full dynamic website with a section for you to put your story in. Right now, it's only for putting your stories in. So if you want to go there and see what's going on, you can read a bunch of patient-reported outcomes from survivors.
Yeah, there's hundreds there.
Yeah, now there's a lot of them, and we need more. The more we get, and it's kind of like a golf handicap. Everybody kind of understands that. The highs and the lows get thrown out. So if you got some kind of extraordinary, oh my God, it's unbelievable, and there's only one of them, it usually doesn't make the cut. But we want to hear it. We want to use it, but it doesn't really affect it like you think it should because we're trying to go for the quality stories, but quantity data. So what we're asking is better questions now. So that's what Dave's helping us with, is like, hey, ask good questions, you'll get good data.
Correct, exactly.
And then it's aggregatable and it's ready to go, and you can immediately plug it into a response. It's like, how do you feel after you do, from a scale of 1 to 10, how do you feel after you do FECO compared to not doing FECO? And especially instant feedback. We got a lab report for the FECO that he's doing, which we don't have lab reports for the last 100 reports, but now we're getting lab reports that match up with the outcomes. So when those things start happening, and you got a person that's willing to live in a legal state that actually is willing to share their information personally, we're looking at clinical trial or better kind of stuff, I think.
Good. Because, we've always believed here on the Pace Radio Network that, sharing one story is how we're going to educate other people.
One at a time.
One at a time. Yeah.
That's really what it is.
Take.
It's to show that why regulation, or why cannabis shouldn't have so much regulation on it, because of the medicinal benefits, but the harmlessness. So the more data that you have that actually can prove that too, it pushes, towards that end of things where it can be taken off the CDSA, because in Canada it's still on the CDSA, right? It's still on our controlled substance.
We can beat them with science,
right?
Yeah.
So the more data, like you said, but the thing is, they need data
and technology Right now, there's a ton of data, and it's all separated. It's like 100 people that have data here, 100 over there. I'm trying to be the nonprofit.
It all in one spot, and then it can at least
put it. It's so much more powerful.
One report.
I'm sure Tamara, all of us at one point we're trying to do some research, trying to find out how cannabis can help us, and the question always was, well, where do we go?
Well,
our spot will be there.
It's like everything. Google's oversaturated with information. Now, whether it's information about whatever it is, whether it's cannabis information, whatever information, so you can go reading through it, and like Jack said before, you go and you read this on Google, and you go read that, and you read this, and nothing makes any sense, and it needs to be all combined together so it does make sense for people, right?
So then now add being sick to the equation.
Yes.
Or having mental health issues or anything else, like attention deficit, where you're reading 60 different things and trying to do what's right and what's wrong, because everybody has an opinion. It ends up on on Google, right?
And so we want 1,000 opinions, and we'll take the best ones. That's perfect.
That's what you mean.
Bring it on.
Quantity, and weed through it. And like I said, would you guys know Corey Yellen then?
Yeah, we do. I follow Corey, and I use a lot of her stories, and we'll take stories like that and put them into our aggregated stories. Honestly, because those are good stories.
Yeah, Corey's a friend from Washington. We've had her on the show a couple of weeks ago, actually, because Dr. Paul Hornsby here passed, and he was instrumental in moving forward with Haley's Comet, which was a CBD for epilepsy for children, right? And he did the research on that. So we had Corey on the show, and for doing an honorary for memorial for Paul, right? But yeah, she's amazing, and the fact that she was a non-cannabis.
She's amazing.
Having cancer.
That's funny.
And then because she didn't
Wow.
use cannabis prior to, and then she used
You
and then
don't.
she
It's some
forget
people
it.
don't use it recreational, right? They just don't.
That's right.
No,
And that's fine. That's the cool. Like, and the real cool ones are ones that don't care that we do. You know.
no, she doesn't care. She doesn't
Yeah.
think absolutely it's a non-issue. But the fact that she wasn't a cannabis user and she went and she researched online to find out where she would find
Wow.
Simpson or
Wow.
FECO,
Well,
right?
Corey is the one that when I got diagnosed, I didn't know I didn't know that we were talking about hash oil. I wish somebody said it's hash oil, I'd have known right away. But when they were saying, okay, cannabis oil, and so she was the one that had fixed me up with a fella on the East Coast. So I'm talking to somebody on the West Coast. She says, I don't do that, Jack. This is the fellow that helped me. So then she sent me there, and then all I can tell you, the cannabis community are wonderful, wonderful people, because I had to put my faith into humanity, into an absolute stranger,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
he
And
stepped
we want
up
to
to
change that. Jack, we're trying to change that, right?
Yes, so you don't have to deal with absolute strangers, and it is, because it's a terrible journey once you get diagnosed. You're out there all alone. And
Yeah.
then
Okay,
that guy in the white coat, he scares you to death.
So
Is
now
he
what
does.
this is where Hope the koala bear comes in. We have a animated bear, and Hope is a daughter of a family. The father had cancer, but Hope is a educated individual, brilliant young lady that knows all about FECO, and she can tell you anything you need to know, and she'll be there to help you. If you just hit the chat button or hit the heart, it immediately goes to Hope, and Hope is there. It's like, hi, I'm here to help you. What can I do for you? Where are you in the playbook? Because the playbook is all about what's working and what's not working. What's working, let's do more of it. What's not working, let's pivot and get you on track with a different play that'll get you around wherever you are. Like if you're not having bowel movements, let's get you some coffee enemas or whatever works. Whatever.
Yep.
More liquids, everything. But the things that you don't think of when you're sick. But and all this is based off of survivors' stories. It's all coming from the Library of Hope, which is patient-reported outcome library database, literally. And that's what we need help building. Anytime you come in here and give us any kind of information, even about your dog or anything, it goes into the Library of Hope. And like I said, let's make that database bigger. And that database it's open. If somebody wants API on it or something like that, I'll give it. I'm not, except if you're a pharmaceutical company, you can feck off. But
yeah.
But
so
anybody in the
you
cannabis
mentioned it.
space,
You mentioned animals. So you're taking information or patient outcome reports for our pets, our fur babies.
Yeah.
Cool.
Absolutely. Yeah. I have a pet story today. I brought my dog Kira. She's over there. See her? Big lab, man.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. That's her couch. Kira, say hi. Kira. Huh. There she is. Oh man.
Oh,
Okay,
you
so
got
she's
me
awesome.
out. Oh, it looks like you said a lab. She looks like she's is it a white? Is she a white lab? She looks pretty white.
White lab. She's white. Yeah.
Wow. I don't recall ever seeing a white lab. That's all.
Yeah. No, she's got a lot of other things in her too. So, but she's mostly lab. Let's call it that. But I went to the doctor today to have her check up. She's very good shape. And while I was there, the friend of mine is a veteran. He's a veterinarian, owns the place. And I was like, so, hey, Terry, you've been on the slide we always talk about, he knows what I do. And I said, I got to share the playbook with you. It's awesome. And I go, are you still pushing CBDs? And he goes, man, listen to what I have to do. He goes, it's illegal for me to say anything to the patient. So he goes, I wear a little button that says, ask me about CBDs. And he goes, as soon as they do that, I can open up and spill. But until that, it's illegal for me. How fucked up is that, man?
Yeah.
That's what's going on. That's what's going. That's it. But ask me about CBDs. How about that? I love that.
Yeah,
man.
it has to be brought forward by the patient, because I know here
Yes.
in Canada, it's not part of the Cannabis Act. I know that they say it's coming eventually, but so is that review that's like 6 months behind. So
and you can't make
the-
FECO in Canada. You can't make FECO.
yeah. Like
Yeah,
what
we-
the like what
No,
the fuck?
You're not legally allowed to use solvents. So how are they making? We do. We got distillant and isolates and vape pens. So they are making it. It's not, and you can buy it.
But they're doing it illegally,
No,
basically, right?
you can buy oil in the legal market.
Well, I mean, oils, but
You can buy
Can't
hash.
the Pink Paper Group, the people that raised the money that took the government to court, aren't we allowed to do it?
Yeah, the Smith ruling gave us in all forms. You
Yes,
can't-
yeah, we're allowed to do it. Anybody else that come after that can't use anything flammable.
wow,
No.
cool.
So
Yeah.
for myself, I can legally come to your house and do an extraction because I have the pink paper.
But again,
See, that's awesome.
Yeah, because the present way the way it is now is that we can't use any explosives. Like, so
Explosives.
rosin,
And
like a
that's-
press for the rosin, that's completely legal. But
Yeah.
if you're going to use whole grain alcohol or ISO or
But
whatever, then those
Al,
can
like I
explode.
said, those pens that you buy, like that vape pen that you buy in the legal stores, that's all honey oil, right? And that has to
That's not full extract. That's not
not
high grade alcohol.
It's not, but that's what are they using to make
They're
that?
probably CO2.
Yeah.
CO2, so you're not getting
You
near
can use
the
CO2, you can't use ISO and you can't use Everclear.
Correct. Yeah.
no.
But
Can't
this
use
make-
any of that.
Only on
It's
the
explosion.
Indian reservation. Only on the it's legal. Cannabis is legal, but the medicine's not. That's another proof. Fact off.
But we don't
Gotta
even
love
have
that, eh?
we don't even have a medical. We got one medical store in all of Canada. We've got literally thousands of recreational stores.
but the First Nations on their land, they do, and they do have them, and
They can do it.
and
They
they
can
can
see
Yeah.
420 and
they've got they can't say do anything about it. So even
No.
here where I live, there's tune-ups, and it's on the res too, and they've got everything too. Edibles, like way higher levels in the legal market. Like I said, you can buy FECO out there. You can buy clones
they
out
sell
there.
it all. Yep.
So
It's
you know
not
what I
like
mean.
it's not like
That's-
legal, but it's legal Indian reservation legal. Like nobody's gonna mess with them.
Right, it's on sovereign land. There's their
And
land.
that's so
Correct.
that's
But I
so
mean,
sad that that's it.
Police don't they could sit on the edge of the res and they could pull people over and bust them because it's illicit cannabis, to be fair, and they could bust you for it if they decided to be charged.
And it's a felony.
Yeah, but they're
it's a
not.
felony.
Really, for you guys.
Yeah,
for
it's a felony in America.
Wow.
Felony.
But like I said, the police don't care. Like they were so done with cannabis. To be honest, unless you're growing
That should be the least of their concerns.
It is, and it has been
Yeah.
for probably a decade, really. And now
It
they don't.
probably yeah.
They don't care.
They don't care, and the cops don't care, but the politicians that are in the pockets care. That's a FECO episode right there.
Yep.
It's a FECO. The FECO part will be like, who's getting paid off? It's not like one or the other is getting paid off. Who the fuck's all getting paid off? Right?
See,
Come on, all you-
in Canada right now, cannabis is so far on the back burner. Now they've got it legalized and they've got it regulated and they got all these little stores and they've oversaturated everything. And patients, still take
They
20
really
years. They've oversaturated the market so bad that nobody's making any money. It's kind of hilarious, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah,
really screwed it
I
up.
think it's funny.
It's funny, but in hindsight, the cops are the government's really not giving a shit because they're still getting their GST, they're still getting their PST off, they're getting their money, right? They're getting, and there's not an
They're getting 30% of every dollar that is spent on cannabis at the stores.
pretty much, right? Like
Yeah,
so
that's
there's-
why-
30% goes to their governments. Yeah.
right?
But they don't
Like, those-
realize they don't realize how strong the black market is.
Really?
The government doesn't. I don't think they do, but they
Yeah, they
don't. They underestimated it.
They do, but I mean, the thing of it is like, even when I was talking to some black market, cannabis is like $300 a pound up here. Like nobody's like that's the thing. Like the market has saturated and oversaturated itself so much that a $2,500 pound is now $300. So when it costs you, $800 to grow,
Same in America.
$300 for it. Nobody's growing it anymore either. And that's the heartbreaking thing about it, because the black market is still there, but it's slowly, because
it's getting squeezed. It's getting
It's
squeezed.
squeezed. Yeah. Slowly.
But and my partner sells supplies. He said this year 4 of his big grows are not growing. 4 of them. And he said only ones that are growing are they're buying bags of dirt instead of truckloads of dirt. The truckloads aren't doing it. There's like you said, they're screwed, man.
With the cost of electricity and inflation right now, with dirt costing double what it was, everything with the transportation costs have gone up between $50 and $60. So economically, for anybody who's growing anything, even the big guys are hurting right now. Like, let me tell you, like, even like we've got an LP here, Delcar, in town. They just laid it, I think they maybe had a total of 12 employees. Now they've got 6, because there's just no market. Like, like I said, you walk into these legal pot stores and it's wall to wall saturation. They have to get more cases in because there's so many LPs now into it that they got to get more cases, because they got more companies bringing in more pot. So how many more micros? And
nobody buys it. No buyers.
Actually, there is here. People use the stores all the time. I used to sell, and now it's not even worth my time.
I know, but not enough though. Obviously, I mean, that's what I mean. And not enough. Like Oklahoma,
they're going through that stuff like 90. Like I said, they made Cranbrook's cannabis stores raised over $58,000 for the Ukraine, just in cannabis sales in a month.
That's a good community, is what I call that.
Yeah. A supportive community, that's for sure.
But again, that's right. But again, that's how many people are going into those stores to be able to generate that much.
Well, I'm saying I'm just saying they're not buying enough. I mean, I go into those stores and buy an ounce. Other people go in there and buy 2 grams.
Oh no, I don't.
Yeah,
I'm just saying.
I go in there and I do. Because like I said, I try and use the res as often as I can, because I'd rather go out there and support them, to be honest. But sometimes when I'm tired and it's like 10 o'clock at night and I can just run down the block, 2 blocks.
That's really nice, isn't it? Yeah.
I don't have to, like I said, I've said this before. I hate to say it, but I mean, at least I'm not looking over my shoulder. I'm not going to get busted. And I'm not waiting for 2 days to meet some.
That's a beautiful thing.
Alley, right? And I'm not going to wait 2 days to get some seedy shit. And I don't know.
Mexican weed is what we call it.
Quality's there. I'm not saying, and it's gotten better, and the prices have dropped. So, and like I said, I was the biggest one out saying "fuck the LP, fuck them," and I did for a really long time. I was probably one of the loudest ones out there, going, "You traitors! You're turning into LPs!" And screamed and yelled about it. But then, like I said, in hindsight, now it's going on 4 years. I mean, like I said, how can and like I said, to get a bag of weed, I literally have to phone somebody that lives in another town to have to wait 2 days for him to bring me a pound of crappy, outdoor that he's going to want, like, more than what it's worth, because they grew it inside and it's,
and that's all there is. There's only 1 pound in town. Yeah.
Right.
And you got one choice.
Right.
Take it or leave it. Yeah. Those are your choices.
Yeah. And then you walk into a store, and then like I said, I hate to say anything I'm great about it, but there's a thousand strains out there now. And most
I should have called weed, take it or leave it. This is your choice.
Yeah.
Take it or leave it.
You can get vape pens, you can get hash now. I don't recommend the pre-rolls.
Hey, it just depends on where you live, Tamara. Don't forget.
Tamara, I'm in Texas.
I lived in a town that didn't allow cannabis stores.
I guess it wasn't
a town that had prohibition. Still going on.
I know, and I love Vancouver, Tamara. Vancouver's one of my favorite towns. 100%.
I hate Vancouver. It's not that I hate Vancouver. I don't live in Vancouver. I live actually in East Kootenays. I live in the Rocky Mountains. I live.
I don't mean. I guess I would be. Let me correct it. BC.
Yeah, BC.
BC. Yeah, I've been to Whistler and up there, and that's what I love. That part.
It's a great place to visit, but you probably don't really want to live there. It's super expensive. That's the only thing, right? Everything's
I went there in '99. Was the last the last time, but it was awesome. Yeah, I bought weed from a guy down at the grocery store.
Oh, yeah.
Good weed, man. Yeah.
Way to go.
I can't remember the last time I was out there. It was a couple years ago, but seriously, it was right before legalization. It was because I was out there for the roundtables, but there was literally a weed store everywhere, and none of them were legal. This is like before legalization. But there was weeds, and then you had cannabis culture over here, and then you had everybody was selling they had dispensaries and vape lounges, and it was great. Like the pot block in Vancouver was the best place to go hang out, honestly. And then legalization came, they shut down the vape lounge.
And then yeah.
But I think there's still I think
Yeah,
you can
the
still,
culture, we lost the culture.
yeah.
Legalization killed culture, man.
It did.
And the culture is what we're all about right here, because this is the reason I think I enjoyed it more than anything else. It's nice having that not
smoking weed with everybody, like just hanging out.
Yeah.
And it's, right?
Yeah. Like
to,
you're doing
teach
something
others.
wrong, but you're not. What's wrong with that? You know,
Right.
it's like,
well, you know, like the best feeling was when you got your medical papers. It was like, right?
Yeah.
License in 2011.
I got one.
I went to Toronto. I'm like,
I did it in California. I did it in California.
Right in my purse, and all my like I had like my ounce of pot because I could carry whatever. Jump on a plane, fly to Toronto. Like,
so my favorite shirt I got in Vancouver is it's gold, it's blue and green, so the Canucks color, but it's a hockey stick. It goes here, and it's like this. It's a hockey stick, but it's really a joint with the smoke going up. Like it's a joint with the smoke going up. But it looks like a hockey stick. It's
right on.
my absolute favorite shirt for some reason.
Vancouver Canucks.
The Vancouver Canucks, and I bought it I bought it in like one of those vaporizer bars back in like '99 or 2000 or. And then I got a really cool story. Great story about Vancouver. My friend in Dallas was a big grower, and I was taking the family up to Whistler to go skiing, and it was a great year in business. We took 11 vacations that year, like literally. We just like Disneyland and Disney World type of shit. You know, it's like I had a great year, and so he said, "Hey Jim, go to this place in Vancouver, and this guy sells seeds." And he's got some special Afghani seeds that I really want, and I'll grow some weed for you. And I was like, okay, you know. So I got there, and I got I hooked up the family at like a badass hotel there, and it was they delivered when I was leaving. They were delivering chocolate milk with cookies with robes for the family, you know. And it was a beautiful little setup. And I walked out the door, and I get to this guy's place, and I walk up. And all I smelled was dank. It smelled so good, man. And the guy was really cool. And he's like, "Hey, what can I help you with?" And I was like, "For one thing, I'm going to smoke some of that, but I'm going to get some seeds." So I bought $1,000 worth of seeds. And then after I was done, I said, "Can I buy some of that? I just spent $1,000 on seeds, man. And can I buy just a little bit of that weed, whatever I smelled when I walked up?" And he pulled out this huge ounce of bubble gum out of his sock. And dumped a big pile and it said, "Enjoy it, man." And so I went downstairs, and this is in '99, and I went downstairs, and it was a coffee shop, but across this next door was the stairs, went up to the seed guy. But I go into the coffee shop, and there's a glassed-in area, and inside that glassed-in area, everybody was smoking weed, and I was like, fuck. So I had this big old pile of weed, you know, and I laid it out, and me being pretty freaking sociable, met 8 different people from 8 different countries, basically, you know, hanging out. And I just put my weed in the middle because I'm going home the next day. And so it was so fun, but I got so high that it started pouring down rain, which in Vancouver, it rains a lot, right, Tamara? I mean, when it rains, I think it rains a lot, like Seattle. And I drove, and so when I left, it was like before GPS. Oh, fuck. It took me like 2 hours to get home. It's a great story, though. It was so fun. And the seeds arrived in Dallas. I sent them. I mailed them. My buddy grew it. And I was getting ready to go on a trip for about a month with my family in my motorhome. And the guy calls me the day before we're leaving. He said, "Jim, I got a present for you." And I was like, perfect timing. I went and got it. It was a big jar of Afghani weed from the Vancouver guy. And it was the best. Oh my God. I brought it on I took the family on a month vacation on the motorhome and smoked Vancouver. That whole, good memories, man. And so
the good memories, good stuff. Nice. All right, everybody. It's time for us to take a break. When we return, Tamara and I will continue our discussion with our guests, Jim Gerstenasher.
Garen,
sir. Jim G, and Jack Kungel. You're listening to the Pace Radio Show. We are live here on the Pace Radio Network's Facebook and YouTube locations. We are people advocating cannabis education here at paceradio.net.
Who has huge buds? You do. If you shop at BMA Hydroponics, attend one of BMA's educational seminars and learn the secrets of growing, harvesting, processing, and consuming quality cannabis and cannabis products. Learn how to make better extracts, edibles, and medicinal creams at prices you can afford. Visit BMA Hydroponics at 404 Maitland Drive, Belleville, or call 613-967-9888.
The only way to go. Enjoy the buzz of legalization with Campbellford Lifestyle Shop. From lights to plant nutrients, books, consumption accessories, and more. We've got all your basics to grow or consume cannabis. Visit our info center or take a look at our piercing services and body jewelry, now available in-store through Campbellford Lifestyle Shop, 17 Bridge Street West, Campbellford.
Pace Radio is the people advocating cannabis education radio network.
Did you know that the Pace Radio Network isn't just a radio network? That's right, because most, but not all of our programming is now done via video and is then podcasted at paceradio.net. So if you want to watch our programming, you'll find us on the Pace Radio Network's Facebook page, plus the show's own page, and you'll find us live on the network's YouTube channel. And don't forget, you can find it all, video and audio, at paceradio.net.
At Legacy 420, we believe in being different.
Experience the difference of quality control.
Our labs provide tested formulations for all of our products.
Experience the difference in trust.
Our customers can trust that we are following up-to-date COVID precautions for their safety.
Experience the difference in accessibility.
We're open 7 days a week. Please visit our website, legacy420.com, or contact us for curbside pickup as well as nationwide mail order shipping.
Legacy 420 values overall wellness.
Come and experience the difference of Legacy 420.
CP operates a medicinal cannabis signing clinic. If you want to grow your own medicinal cannabis and are located anywhere in Canada, then I'd like to suggest that you give them a call. They can be reached at 1-613-967-9888. That's 1-613-967-9888, and grow on with CP.
Catch the Reefer Reporters Mondays and Thursday mornings at 10 a.m. Eastern Time, live here on the Pace Radio Network.
A doctor's job is to relieve your pains. And when it comes to growing cannabis, the biggest pain is trimming. Let Dr. Buck Cannabis Trimming Solutions take the pain away. Whether you're a home grower or commercial operation, we have the cure. From 4 plants to 400 plants, garden size doesn't matter. Dr. Buck Cannabis Trimming Solutions comes to you with years of experience and professional discreet service. It's simple. We trim your weed and we do a damn good job. Visit drbuckcts.com to book your trimming.
You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net. Hey, welcome back and thanks for tuning into the program. We are live. We are being broadcasted here at the Pace Radio Network's YouTube channel as well as Facebook. Tonight in the program, we have our guest, Jim Gerenser, Jim G, almost, and Jack Kungel. He's the Jack of the award-winning documentary Jack's Garage. Tamara, before I ask any questions, I'm going to let you jump in there first.
Well, like I said, I'm interested to know more about, the data collecting, but again, it's interesting because it's exactly what's needed, right? So is this going to be like nationwide, North American wide? Like, are you interested in having patients like just the US, Canada? Like what's your end goal? Like, are you going to have 2? Like, what's the end goal, I guess?
The cool thing is we could go global.
Right?
Yeah, we could go global with it, and it's a definite benefit of what we're doing. A lot of countries are way more illegal than Texas. 100%, right? So these are way more illegal, and they just need information because they can make their own medicine. They have cannabis. And when I went up and met Jack, I realized, we were looking at getting a lot more detailed on trying to research what FECO does this, what FECO does that. And I realized it's just get some FECO in your system, but follow the playbook, which includes diet and exercise, and remove your toxins and supplements. Those are the huge things. So, so the globalness of it is what our plan is. I think we're going to try to do some research out of Oklahoma right now, because my buddy can do extraction in Oklahoma. They actually have a license to do high alcohol grade alcohol extraction, which is awesome. So I'm going to have him make us some.
That's the best way, to be honest. It's, using isopropyl or using Everclear. Like, that's the best.
What do you guys think the best? I mean, Jack, I've heard, Jack's philosophy, and I watched Jack make it. What do you think the best FECO is made out of?
ISO.
ISO?
It's 99%, right? The Everclear is 97%, so you want the higher level. I feel that's my opinion.
So isopropyl alcohol.
It's quicker.
Jack hasn't said anything yet.
Well, I got a rule of thumb when it comes to that. If you can't eat it or drink it, you don't use it. You see, isopropyl, it leaves a benzene ring that cannot be removed. And side effect are blood cancers. That's what happens with ISO.
That's good information. Like I said,
that's science. That's I have that link on my webpage that explains all that. And so we're going to go back like to Rick Simpson, the naphtha, and everything.
I always thought that was really odd to be using.
Well, it's cheap. It's a paint thinner. That's why people use ISO, because it's cheap.
So they use ISO and they use naphtha, but when they purge it, the key is that they're not getting it all out.
You can't.
You can't.
You can't. So that's why. That's why
you want to use Everclear. You want to use Everclear like a grain alcohol, which when I'm making.
And it doesn't matter if you don't get all the alcohol out. Then it doesn't matter if there's 2 parts per million or something left. It doesn't matter.
It's like doing a shot. You get a shot with your hit of FECO.
Yeah. Just so you know, Jack, a message for you. Hi, Jack Kungel. That's from Froggy. Froggy saying hi to you.
He's a contractor. Did some work for me.
Oh, there you go. So how do you know? Yep, he's left a message there saying hi to you. So I thought I'd show that to you.
That's awesome. And Jack, and by the way, Jack is an all-star, rock star for this space in terms of like really giving his whole life towards what he's doing. When I was at his house, all I could feel was love coming out of the guy, man. He just had this I want to help you. Yeah, I want to help you help them kind of deal. And it was really neat because there's not a whole lot of people like that. I mean, I've kind of converted myself into a philanthropist. Since I've left his house, I've become a philanthropist. I want to be more like that. I want to give more. I'm going to quit taking and start giving more. And the FECO playbook is a great start. It really is. It's a neat concept. It's a, like I said, it's a give thing. It's really pay it forward. It's a lot of things in one. The data collection is our key because the data that's right now is so scattered and it's fragmented and it's hidden. And the government's got all the good stuff. They don't even though they don't ask the right questions, anything good they found out, they squash. We all know that, right? I mean, all those different tests that they.
Yeah, well, look at they found out about the benefits with cancer back in 1974, and they never released it. So.
Yeah.
Sons of a
bitches.
Within the playbook, you're talking about patient-recorded outcomes. Is there other information to deal with when it comes to like the lifestyle change, the stuff that Jack promotes about the things that you have to change in your life? Because you could eat as much oil as you want, but you need to do these other things as well.
That will be all listed there. Yeah, it's literally
all in the library.
We're literally going to take you by the hand and walk you through it, so you're not all alone.
It's basically, like you said, a playbook. It's basically
it's a playbook. So if you turn left on
how to beat cancer.
It's like you're
right down to what you need to eat and what you need to do, exercise, and pH level.
All of the above, and it's just not for cancer. It's not for cancer. It's for all sickness.
Everybody has immunity problems. Like I think it's like 90% of us
It's a
have
it's
with our with our immune systems, right? Because we've been feeding processed food and all this
you
crap
nailed
in
it
our
right
bodies,
there.
right?
It's a
And
thank
that's
you.
something that people have promoted for a long time. Why people are eating keto and trying to eat cleaner and trying to eat less meat,
Yeah.
right? I see a lot of my generation too really leaning towards being more vegetarian or vegan rather than eating meat.
Tamara,
Right?
you
And
nailed it. You nailed it.
and
It's a
and to be honest, that's I meeting away from a lot of that stuff too. It's just kind of like, I don't know.
I can do without it now that I know what. And you know what Jack really convinced me to get away from it was, is he goes, you don't have to eat if you have to eat it and they have a mother, you need to think about eating it.
Well, I always said if it has eyes or a mother, don't eat it.
If it has a mother. If it has a mother, you don't need to think about it. And I was like, oh God.
You could tell, Jack, that this is your friend. Froggy's a friend. He's left a few more comments in here, and he tells us that this man knows his cannabis, and he agrees completely on your diet, and with no poultry and no meat, no pastas as well. Hey, that's hard on you as well.
Those are carbs. So usually, like when you come and you see me, you get this. And so tell me what you got going on. And then you tell me, and I go, okay, this is what's going to happen. No bread, no pasta, no potatoes, no sugar, no red meat, no alcohol, no dairy products, no eggs, no chicken, no fish. Their jaw drops. And then they say, well, what am I supposed to eat? And I go, hey, hold on. I only use 9 fingers. You can eat anything else except those 9 things. And that'll be the hardest thing that you've ever done.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Because now it's the sugars and it's the withdrawal and all that all kicks into place. And so a lot of people don't realize once you start to do this. And so in my smoothie, and so like I put in hemp hearts, hemp protein, and hemp oil. Those 3, a tablespoon of each, gives you 100% of the magnesium. Magnesium helps with withdrawal. I didn't know this. When I started down this road, I was drinking my smoothie. Now I'm on 180 milligrams of oxy, 100 milligrams of morphine, 120 milligram fentanyl patch. I chewed Tylenol number 4 like it was candy. I was eating 20, 30 of them a day. And then what started happening, things just started to change. Right? And I was off my oxy in 26 days, the morphine in the next 28 days, and then the fentanyl the next 24 days, and had no idea that it was my smoothie and the magnesium in the smoothie that was dealing with the withdrawal. But what I did is this was the amount of morphine that I was taking for the day. I would wait until that time came, until the heebie-jeebies kicked in and the withdrawal. Then I gave the dragon just a little bit, and then I ate a whole bunch of cannabis. And then, like I said, in 6 months, I was off 22 medications, and I just took the cannabis originally for pain. All the rest of that stuff is side effects.
Oh.
Fixed my diet. Yeah, it fixed my diabetes. It fixed my blood pressure, regulated my weight, 78 pounds, gave me the use of my upper girdle back. I took my leg brace off. I'm waiting right now. I'm supposed to have a brand new shoulder, a complete shoulder reversal. I've been home since 1990 because of my injuries. But this is what cannabis has done, and mushrooms. So I'm using the reishi, the turkey tail, cordyceps, lion's mane, the magic mushroom. So we use it all because it addresses everything in the body, mind, mentally, spiritually, and physically. And spiritually, I don't mean God. I'm talking about the intestinal fortitude that every single one of us have. That's where you need to go to heal. Because the guy driving the big spaceship isn't coming down to help any of us. He gave us all the tools that we need. If you're looking for his help, look at your neighbor, because he made us in his image, if that's what you believe. That's where he is, right in the person right next to you. So that's where you go look for your help, from your friends, man. We have the tools. We just need to use them.
Yeah.
That's right.
And we need to share the information, and all this secret squirrel shit's got to stop.
Yeah, it is. What we do is we share the dirt, but we don't share the good. And that's what I see in Jack, is that's what I've been doing more now that I'm living Jack's lifestyle. I go to the store, I buy raw ginger, kiwi, raw lemons, asparagus, Brussels sprouts. They all go into a smoothie, It's holy crap. I've never thought. I got my wife drinking it. She's just
See, you can go to Jack's and have your life changed, and you don't even need to consume cannabis.
No.
Well, it does. You probably will.
Probably
It
will.
helps.
You
It
have
helps
to
big
will,
time. It helps.
You probably
just
will. So don't get your heart set on not consuming cannabis when you get there. I thought I did a pretty good job, Jack. Right?
Yeah, you did. You hung pretty well.
It wasn't easy. I'm going to be honest.
Yeah. Well, he had to
But-
take a little break though.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He had to tone me down a couple of times. It wasn't the cannabis talking, not 100%. But you know what? The whole playbook concept is it's just a dream come true the way it's coming about in terms of collecting data, using the data from these survivors, and not even survivors, they're patients. So I've got a current patient giving us patient reported outcomes with lab reports and using the exact medicine that we know that and as we get more reports from these patients, and that's what we're asking people. If you're listening now, go to FECOplaybook.com and give us a patient reported outcome. It just takes 5 seconds. You could write in there one sentence that's reactive to where you are in your journey and how FECO is helping you, and that's a huge thing for us. And then we use that.
Exactly, because somebody who's looking for information will read that, and that could change somebody else's life.
Yes.
And we make it easy to read. It's not like you're going to read 1,000 stories like on cannabis oil success stories. That's a great driving force for me. I wanted to take those stories and simplify and put them into an Excel spreadsheet and make it easy for a person that's looking for. And the way I found with skin cancer is I had my secretary do 30 or 40 names of random stories with skin cancer, and every single one a common denominator was FECO. So I went and got some FECO, and it worked. It was pretty simple.
Yeah.
No magic, no supplements,
Yeah, exactly. So is there any plans to, like, right now you're taking in the data and the information, any plans that you're sort of working on to for the future, I guess?
Save lives through cannabis oil. Really getting FECO Playbook out there. We're looking at now starting the marketing campaign to get it out into the SEO world, so you can search it and find it. And also through social media, you'll be seeing Hope out there. Would really use your help when we do post stuff to help us spread it and share it with your friends. And right now we have something that we can share with you that you can share with somebody right now that's, if they're going through cancer, they can start reading the playbook and start. Basically, it's taken Jack's website, jackkungel.com, and we've simplified it. Jack and I have gone over it 100 different ways and tried to make it simpler on the patient to be able to make it more like a playbook where they go from play 1 to play 2, and then play 2 happens, and play 3 is not predefined. I call it like build a bear. You don't build a bear at home. You build a bear when you go into the store. So you get there and you don't know what your bear is going to look like till you get there. Right?
That's right.
You think about it, but you don't really build it. And then think about building a bear for your cancer journey using cannabis.
Yeah, because as you learn different things change.
It's a koala bear. We probably need to do a little build a koala bear, use that as and we're open for suggestions here. And we are going to do the FECO deal. FECO is my dream come true to tell people to FECO, man.
All right, we got a few more minutes left here. Tamara, you got any other questions you want to throw in before we get into the shout
How
out?
do people just like have a shout out, like how do people get a hold of you? Like Jack was saying, he takes one appointment a day, like so at 10 a.m. So how do people get a hold of you if they need to get a hold of you, Jack, to find out?
That's a good question.
That's
a good question. They just get a hold of me. I have a web page and my email's there, and so jackkungel.com. So if you send me an email, I usually get back to you. And so a lot of times too, I will do a Skype call like what we're doing here. I've done many extractions with people in different countries with take the laptop, and I sit and I watch you do your alcohol extraction, so you don't make any mistakes. It's pretty simple to help. Hey,
That's pretty awesome.
You can get around a lot of things, but you got to be willing to do it. And it like that, and that took nothing, to just a little bit of time, and we all have time.
And we're trying to videotape what Jack does and be able to share it with people, because Jack's going to be around only another 20, 30 years, and after that, no more Jack. So we don't want that.
We'll live in video. We'll live on in video.
Yeah, we'll make it
education. The education will continue long past.
Absolutely.
That's right.
That's what it's all about.
Documenting all this information, because like I said, and I've always said that, I don't know why the doctors don't even look at it, because you got so many patient testimonies that are, come forward and told you, I don't use any pharmaceuticals.
I think they feel embarrassed now.
I think they are.
I
think they should have known that this was something, because cannabinoid therapy is not something new, right? They used cannabis prior to the prohibition of cannabis for medicine in the 1800s. They used cocaine, they used different drugs and in different forms until they found out, I guess, what the harms they thought were. Right?
Well, the harms are only when you abuse them,
right?
That's right.
Yeah.
But nobody can abuse cannabis. That's the thing. To be honest, how can you abuse cannabis?
You can't really do that. The only thing you abuse is the pocketbooks of the people in the paper industry and the pharmaceutical industry.
Well, that's exactly it, right?
That's the abuse. That's FECO. That's FECO. Yeah. One of the episodes for sure. They're fecking us off big time, man.
Yeah.
I
agree. I think that's great.
You mentioned videotaping Jack stuff. So within this playbook, is there going to be videos like that? Maybe as a future thing. I asked about a future, right? That would be a future thing where there'd be something like that where people could actually watch a video of it.
We have videos. We have videos live right now, and we're looking at doing some chats where we'll actually do a weekly, for people with breast cancer, come on Thursday at 3:00, and Jack and David can be on there and ask any questions, ask me anything kind of stuff. We definitely have the capacity to be able to do those kind of things.
Mosquitoes,
yeah.
Sorry, mosquitoes.
And I thought you really liked that idea, but
yeah, no, that's good.
Idea.
Yeah,
seminars are good, especially if they're free. Especially if we can just give them, something for not and that's the best part about this community anyway.
And real quick,
we've done so much things and helped so many patients, and didn't charge them anything. I don't know how many. I get at least 100 patients signed over the years, minimally, and help them.
That's wonderful.
All kinds of things, right? Yeah. But again, it was done on voluntary basis. Nobody got paid to do it.
Yeah.
I was taken to a doctor in Ontario, and somebody paid, made sure that I got my license and taught me everything that they knew, so that I could do it to help other people. Right.
That's what the data
should be, right? That's why we keep doing these shows, so that we can keep educating and paying it forward to pass on the information so people can help themselves. Right. And I think that's really important too, that people have to be, dedicated to their health, and they have to help themselves. Because nobody can, you can give them all this information. You can give them all the information about their diet and the supplements and all the detox and all the information about the cannabis. And if they don't want to,
it's their journey. It's their journey.
At that point, it's their decision.
Exactly. But again, the choices are there, and that's one thing that is terrific, that they've got the option to find people that will help them, right?
Much more than we did years ago. There's no doubt about that.
No kidding, Al.
Jim, with the playbook, we're talking about inputting people's stories. That's people typing in the stories. Can it be done through a video? Can people submit their story in video?
You can upload a video. Yep. You can upload a video, and then what we'll do is we'll have somebody go through and pull the data that we need out of it. That will allow it to be part of the data collection and the reporting, the AI back to the next patient.
Right.
But the video will be there for somebody that likes listening to videos. So we'll have a whole library of those.
Good.
Yeah, there's a couple of success stories now.
Actually, my son has a beautiful story. His story, Eric, when he was 18 and he got Burkitt's lymphoma. This was his third bout. He had 2 brain tumors and then Burkitt's. when he came home from the hospital, they gave him 9 prescriptions, and my neighbor down the road had the same kind of brain tumor he did, so he gave him some cannabis oil, and it eliminated 5 of them.
Wow.
Just like that. It was amazing. All the nausea and all the bullshit, we didn't need it at all. It was amazing. Yeah. And immediately I knew this is some special stuff. And I really didn't know it until then. And Brandon, to this point, Brandon, I should have had you get on. We need to get Brandon on one of these. He's the guy that he had a brain tumor, and his brother grows it. His mom promotes it, and he makes it. And they and his mom. His mom was taking care of my mom, who's 98 and a half now. And my mom has done brownies and done her own. She's done her share of gummies before and stuff. So they don't kill you.
No.
All the stigma and myths, right? Like I said, that's one thing I appreciate the fact that the stigmas are they're being alleviated.
They're hilarious almost. Right? We got to laugh at them. That's FECO.
Right?
Yeah, that's right. You gotta, I know for my condition, you have to try to make laugh or jokes instead of being down about it.
You have to,
because if not, it makes you want to punch him in the face, and we're too chill to do that.
Yeah,
but it's so stupid that So. Hey, good stuff. You guys are awesome, man. I think we got a lot covered.
We got through this. I was for some reason today, I don't know if there's a storm brewing out there again, but I could see there's a lot more choppiness at least at my end throughout the night. But we got through it, and it's good. I was glad that we got to have you guys on the program.
Yeah, thanks very much for coming on. Very interesting stuff.
Thank you for having us.
Oh, you're welcome. So shout out time, person, place, a thing, a website, whatever you want to do. If you've got more than one, feel free to do so.
Yeah, I just have Kungel.com, my webpage. Ton of information there, and then also the FECO playbook. Take it away, Jim.
Nope, Jack's been awesome. JackKungel.com right away. I highly recommend it. I also run another charity. It's called Early Recognition is Critical. We have a network of free cancer screening facilities, and we've taken our data from all these different sources of free cancer screening and put them into one location. So it's a pretty big project that we got going, and it's not finished yet, but it's really close to being finished. So stay tuned. EarlyRecognitionIsCritical.org. It's all about recognizing symptoms early, and that's the best way to beat cancer is to recognize it early.
That's right, sure is. Right. And just so you know, Froggy says, "Have a good night, guys."
Yay, Froggy! Was Froggy our only guest or what?
No.
He's the only one that spoke.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it depends. Yeah, some people don't. They just watch. Some people comment. Some get involved in the conversation. They'll say all kinds of things, and we'll show them depending on what they're saying. Some people can get, they're just sort of promoting something that's totally different. So
right on.
Yeah. All right. Other than that, remind everybody that Tamara and I will be back next week with a special guest who is Nurse Bonnie Drake. She's also known as Grandma B. We're going to be talking people and dogs as well. And don't forget to catch the Reefer Reporters tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Eastern here on the network. And you can talking about the network, you can find us on Facebook, Twitter, as well as on Instagram and online at paceradio.net. Thanks to our sponsors, Legacy 420, BMAHydroponics.com, the Camelford Lifestyle Shop in downtown Camelford, Dr. Buck, CTS.com, who's cannabis trimming business. Plus, thank you to our guests, Jim and Jack, for coming on the show tonight and telling everybody about the FECO playbook. We really appreciate it.
Appreciate it. Good night.
And Tamara, thanks to you as always, and good night to everybody. We'll talk to you all next week, or who knows, tomorrow morning. Bye-bye.
The views expressed by the individuals during this broadcast are their own opinions, and they may not be the same as those of their group or other organizations they may be involved with.
You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.